Hey guys, Justin here. I'm away for the next couple weeks again, so we're back to the farmer's guide type of guide. So no races in this one, but I will be doing a full long run so that you can see how my line progresses throughout the long run. And also the truck guides are going to be going away for a couple weeks at least because I will be away in Talladega and a road course I've never raced before, so I wouldn't be very helpful. You can go look at the old Talladega video, it's going to be the exact same. But anyways, let's get right to the lap. Just on like stale videos. People falling down the Yee-J rabbit hole.
Who is this guy?
Dude, some of these CNC lathes are not that expensive.
Yeah, but some of them that just work in 3 axes aren't expensive, but the cool ones are the ones that can like rotate, and they call them 4 or 5 axis ones.
Dude, I didn't know that.
30.795.
This one's only 70K. Dude, these are really expensive.
30.364.
Alright, let's take a look at that. So, this is going to be second lap, so this is our first lap coming to our second lap. Just not quite enough grip on the first lap to make it work. So what we're going to do for the out lap is just keep it as high as possible. So you can't really full throttle the top, and by not really, you can't do it at all. I actually go full out of the throttle for a little bit. I do that because I can get back to full throttle earlier if I over slow down a little bit. So we're just going to go along the top line right here, close to the wall, but it's going to slide up mid-corner a little bit, so don't enter too hard. So you'll see here that I'm entering the corner, and it kind of gets a little tight in the middle of 3 and 4, so I can't go to full throttle quite yet, and I can't really even go full throttle until about halfway through the corner. So a little unusual for 1.5 miles, but it's a little tight here at Charlotte, so that's fine. It gets a little loose off the corner, so be careful on that. You're going to see between this and the long run, there's a lot of loose condition in 3 and 4 if you don't have the correct angle. So we'll see that in the real lap too. But otherwise, we're going to come to the start-finish line with a decent amount of speed. And we'll fast forward to turn 1. And so turn 1, a couple things. For qualifying lap, I really like this big arc because you can really keep your momentum. And when there's long straights like there are 1.5 miles, keeping up your momentum is more important than shortcutting corner entry. So you can gain a couple hundredths, if not half a tenth, right off the bat if you go down really early. But the problem is you'll be waiting so long on the throttle that you're just going to lose it all on exit and then even lose more on the straightaway. So I actually do a tiny brake drag here, even on qualifying lap. The reason I do this is because the car is kind of wanting to go straight towards the wall initially, and just that tiny little brake drag does enough to kind of get the car out of its momentum, out of its groove of going forward, and kind of just kicks it to the left a little bit. It helps get the ball rolling. So I go just from the brake drag directly back into throttle. So if you see the throttle motion there, I go immediately to like maybe a third. We'll call it, you can stomp it to a third, which isn't much, and then just slowly bring up the throttle as you come down the track. I'm aiming for a really late apex here because a late apex is going to allow you to carry more speed than a middle apex. And this is really all I'm caring about right now. I think that if I hit the middle apex, it might have been a similar time, but I just really like the feeling of that late apex line. So you see, I lose a little bit initially because I don't get down early, but I was able to make the exit so long because of the late apex that I carry a lot more speed off the corner and it all evens out. So by the time all is said and done, it's pretty much even than my previous attempt when I did a center apex. So it's whatever's most comfortable for you. If you like center apexing, then go for that. If you like late apexing with more momentum, then you can go for that, and it'll probably just about even out. All right, 3 and 4, this track is a little bit weird. I tried to do the same huge arc before where I like stay up even longer and then come straight down and try to make the whole corner straight. The center of the corner is too loose for that. Or sorry, too tight, and then it goes tight to loose. So you get loose off the corner. So you have a tight conditioned center and loose off. But what I do instead is I take it just a little shallower. You see I'm still arcing down the track. I'm still using that banking. I'm not going down super early. But you can see that I use just a little more off throttle time. Just a tiny little, same little brake drag. I need that brake drag because I'm helping the car. You see that the brake drag correlates exactly with me cranking the wheel to the left. So I needed the brake to help me there. Then I get back to the throttle immediately to partial. But you see this time, if you remember last corner 1 and 2, I was bringing it straight up the whole time. There was really no like holding the throttle. But in 3 and 4, you're going to have to hold that half throttle for just a little bit, because if I were to gas up, this is a little bit past. If I were to gas up like right here, for instance, then my rears would just kick out. And you wouldn't necessarily spin out, but what you would do is you would slide the rear tires and just lose a lot of momentum. It just would have a really bad corner exit, even though you were full throttling for longer. So remember, what's more important than having more full throttle time is having the most amount of throttle to where your rear tires are still engaged. So I keep my rear tires engaged by this half throttle, and then I go full throttle when I feel like I can unload the wheel, and I can push the limits of this a little bit in qualifying. You'll usually see me not full throttle until I can unload the wheel to center, but since I'm trying to gain some speed, I kind of full throttle it and rodeo it off the corner, because that's what happens. So you see this loose condition right here, it probably cost me a few hundredths of a second, but at the same time, if you're starting to slide up the track like this early, then you're going to get loose no matter what, because a perfect exit of a corner, you want your wheel to really be close to the center by the time that you're exiting the corner, because that's just how well your angle is set up. But in this case, I get off the white line a little early, so I have to keep my wheel in it. And because I have to keep my wheel in it, having your wheel turned plus full throttle is a recipe for getting loose, and I knew that. So just correcting. Losing a couple hundredths here or there, but it wasn't, it was still a good 3 and 4. It was still my best 3 and 4 that I've done, but I know it can be a little bit better. But anyways, that's a decent qualifying lap. Now let's get to the long run. All right, let's do a long run. So it was pretty loose in qualifying. We're going to try to keep the balance as even as possible throughout the run here. I'll probably set some checkpoints as we go along, but I shouldn't be crashing too much here. It's pretty easy to bail out if you mess up. So in the qualifying, I really like the big arcs. I'm wondering if saving tire, you want to enter a little more shallow. Use less of your steering wheel. It depends on how much we can get it on the right rear down there. So I'm gonna try out some things. We'll just start fresh here. The shallow, it felt like it was getting a little tight on me. I had to wait on it pretty long. I could have forced the throttle earlier, but I would have had to use more wheel. Seems like I get really tight on entry, and it seems like I can power off a lot more if I was somehow not able to get tight entry with 3. That was pretty slow. We're gonna have to be a little bit faster than that for race pace. I think it was mostly in 3 and 4. If we can get like a 10th here, that's probably good. A little more tire than I wanted to use there. I think the pace will be down in the 7s and 6s at the beginning. I let it track up a bit too high. Didn't need to do that. Try earlier entry into 3. Get really early on the throttle. Oh, I got on the right rear. Did you see that? I think that's promising, even if I got loose and slid the tire there. I'm pretty loose there. Hurt the tires a little bit, but I didn't really lose traction, so it wasn't horrible. Let's try this early entry again. Interesting. I think I like that. 30.767. I think I like that for long run. We'll see how it handles later, getting a run now. I think I've seen it go top here before at the end. I think at the Legacy. Conversation that I want to bring up while I'm just kind of logging laps here. Somebody brought up in the comments a very good driver. He was saying how he doesn't understand why it needs to be 16 to 1 anywhere or everywhere, and he runs 12 to 1. And he's right. It really, when I give my guides and I say 16 to 1, it's not the end all be all. But I think that what 16 to 1 does is it helps out newer people build good habits. So you can be just as fast on 12 to 1 as 16 to 1, if not faster, because you can catch your car better, make quicker adjustments on 12 to 1. But what 16 to 1 does that's harder to do on 12 to 1 is that if you do a bit of an over adjustment in your steering, the over adjustment isn't as costly if you're on a higher steering ratio. Or if you turn your wheel too abruptly, that would otherwise cause the car to spin out in lower steering ratios, maybe it would in 16 to 1. And it also is very wheel dependent too. So 16 to 1 on a Logitech is like the exact same as 12 to 1 on a Fanatec NASCAR rig. So it's all relative. Make sure to check for comfort first of all. But if you're comfortable on 12 to 1, I just want to ask yourself, am I building bad habits with moving the wheel too abruptly, or is this truly where I'm running comfortably? Because I do agree that if you run a perfect race, if you're a perfect driver, which some people honestly come pretty close to it, maybe 12 to 1, 14 to 1, that's faster than 16 to 1 in certain situations. But I just think for the vast majority of people to build habits, I think that 16 to 1 is the way to go. That was just kind of my piece on that while we're logging laps here. Nothing too crazy yet. It's slowing down a little bit, but as you can see, we're brake dragging. Getting a little loose center off. I don't think I'm using too much wheel. I think the tire wear feels pretty neutral right now. The most tire wear I use is right there if I try to arc 3 and 4. And you see it's faster in the short term. But I think I'm using too much wheel on entry of 3 and 4 if I'm arcing it. I think it's better to do a little more shallow. 1 and 2 it feels fine to arc. I have like no issues. When I turn the wheel, the car goes to the bottom in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 I kind of have to force it. There's a little more brake. It's getting loose under throttle. This is the hard part about 3 and 4 in Charlotte, is that you have to slow the car a decent ways down, but by the time you get the car slow, it's already like you're already kind of missed your shot to gas up optimally. So I think I really do need to experiment more with that early entry, early exit line. But that's too tight. I mean, I didn't lose any time. Honestly, I'll keep experimenting with that. I did get really loose that last lap, but the lap before. See, 1 and 2, it kind of, well, that time it did not go down the track, so it seems like the car's balance is shifting a little bit. We need to work on getting it to the bottom. Good compromise line. Really tight center still. Tight center, loose off.
51.547.
Sometimes that means I'm doing something wrong driving, to be honest with you, but this time felt better. I'm gonna try one more time to big arc this. Maybe point it down track. It just doesn't have the angle that I want by the time I get to the bottom, even if I point it down like that. Keep experimenting here. Didn't feel bad. I don't think that was particularly amazing on the tires. Diving a little deeper. I just feel so bogged down coming off of 4. It just feels like there should be a faster way, but I guess it's alright. Like 1 and 2, when I pick up the throttle here and I get off the corner, it's not feeling bogged down. Like I'm sliding all the way up to the wall off the corner. But in 3 and 4, to me, it seems like I don't need to slide up to the wall, which is telling me that I can put the throttle in earlier. I guess that was a little better, but it didn't carry. It wasn't really even carrying more speed.
51.5.
I think overall this approach I'm doing in 3 and 4 now is better because it's minimizing right front forces. Easier entry, harder off, and as long as the harder off is the car getting loose, then it's gonna favor the right rear more than the right front. Too much favoring of the right rear. I did some heavy braking there to try something and it didn't work.
51.757.
I guess I should set one of these guys. Hey, see, I don't even slide to the wall off of 4, but it feels like that's how I get the best run. It feels counterintuitive. I just don't feel a better way right now. It's bugging me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, you guys can see that no line feels better than this right now. I guarantee you the top wouldn't work better than this at this point in the run. This is right front. It's a lot of right front wear that corner. A lot of right front to keep the car turned down.
51.732.
That was less right front, but it's a little harder. The car wants to step out under full throttle, and you need full throttle pretty early to match your times. I kind of drove that through a loose condition there. Not great. A little more brake in 3 and 4 I think is the way to go. Then drive it loose off the corner like that, I guess. A little more brake on entry 3 and 4.
51.895.
Not as easy to hit the bottom. I'm not going to argue with the car though. A little more brake here. Roll it. Oh, it's too tight. It gets too tight center if I slow it down too early. It does need that arc at this point in the run.
51.993.
It's definitely not going to be even tire wear, I don't think, at least. Feels like I'm favoring the right front slightly. 3 and 4 especially. 1 and 2 when I hit it right is fine. I think I can drag the brake a little longer in 1 and 2. I need to get to the bottom again. We'll try the top around lap 30 for a few laps. Oh, oopsie. Yeah, that full throttle bottom of 3 and 4 is killer.
32.229.
We'll do a lap to cool down our tires and then keep going. No, it's just, I'm going too low again. Yeah, you can't apex too early in 3 and 4. That's pretty killer. You do not want that.
32.21.
Don't apex too late. Better. Didn't even hit the bottom, but I can tell it's better. I'm actually might be losing the right rear a little bit.
32.112.
Late apex line does pretty well, pretty even. Alright, we're gonna try the top this next lap, at least in 1 and 2. I don't know if it works in 3 and 4. It doesn't. My instinct doesn't feel like it'll work in 3 and 4 because of it. Oh, dang it, I didn't want to do that. Because now that messes up my. Alright, we gotta do one more lap before trying the top.
32.283.
You gotta really let it track up. Okay, now we're gonna try the top of 1 and 2. So I'm gonna be kind of easy at first. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, that has potential. I'm gonna try it one more time after this lap. See, this is so tight. There's no way that would ever work. It might work in 1 and 2 though.
32.81.
Let's see. I think I was at a 0.2 a couple laps ago. No, it just slides up. Alright, we'll give it one more college try up top and then we'll call it a session. Go up here, brake. Put the car down. I don't want that. It could have been done slightly better, maybe a 10th, less than a 10th better. I really don't believe in 3 and 4, so I'm just gonna get out here. Okay, now we'll do a bottom lap and compare.
32.439.
No, no way. Maybe if your tires are some kind of dead, you'll have to resort to the top. But there's no, I don't see 2 extra tenths from that, personally.
32.293.
See, the problem is it slides up mid-corner. You can't be in the throttle until fairly late, so your run off the corner isn't even good. And then this one, it's like, jeez. Waiting on it for an eternity. And then it still gets loose, so like, where's your run? What's the point? It wasn't even a better run off the corner. Alright. That's some good experimenting. I don't recommend the top. I think some people will resort to the top because their tires are dead. But I think the bottom should be better the whole race for our purposes. And we ended on 77.77. Okay, so we were, I mean, shenanigans with the top aside, we were wearing pretty evenly, so that's good to see. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And as always, if you want to see this video early, make sure to join the memberships and get these videos at least 4 or 5 days early so you can practice on the weekend before. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you all on the track.